This is our mug mat. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And it has 2 appliques on it, so I thought this would make a good one to show you how to do applique in the machine, in the hoop. And what you will do, you will have your, after your quilt design has gone down, you will see that there's an open space that was not quilted, and this is where the house goes. So you will have your applique fabric, and since this is being done, I did this on a blue, sort of representing the sky, and because I'm using white for the house, then it's going to show through. The blue is likely to show through, and anytime you have a darker fabric and you're putting a lighter colored fabric over top, you will want to interface, because there is always that potential that the color will show through. So I've already done that, and this is the white, and I'm setting it over top of the placement line of the house. So I will take that to the machine will tack this down, and then it will be trimmed. Alright, so the applique fabric has been tacked down, and the next thing you want to do is trim the excess fabric that is around the tack down. I use a double curve scissor, the name of it, double curve, and it just makes it much easier to go around and get all these small pieces off, because you want to trim as close as you possibly can to that tack down. I find it easier if I just cut the main pieces off and then go back and cut these smaller pieces off. Now this comes in 2 different sizes. This is the longer version and the shorter version. They're both called double curve. And this is the kind of applique scissor that you want to use. You don't want to use the one that has the big duck bill on it for this. And then you can also use just a sharp scissor, just a really sharp, but you don't want to use like a giant pair of scissors like this, because those are going to make it really difficult. So I'll trim around, all the way around, put it back in the machine, and the satin stitch is going to go around to secure that edge, that raw edge. So now the satin stitch has gone down over the house, and there is the second applique that goes down, and that has been left unquilted right below the house, and that's the grass area. Now what's fun about doing appliques is that you can use different kinds of fabric, different prints. So, I could use just like a solid that goes down all the way across, or I could use, a print that has some flowers in it. This maybe the flowers are a little bit too big, but I do have this other piece of scrap fabric that has smaller fabric, or smaller flowers. And so that's the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to just cut this into a smaller piece here. And I'm going to lay it over top of this section right here for the grass. I'm going to take that to the machine. It's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to tack it down. I'm going to bring it back here. I'm going to trim it out. And then it's going to do a satin stitch securing the raw edges. If you're new to applique, you will probably want to use a darker or a contrasting thread to do your tack down until you are able to determine how close you are to the stitch line, because you want to get close to it, but you don't want to go into the stitches. And if you have a thread color that matches your fabric, it's going to be kind of hard to see. I've used a slightly darker tack down line here so you can see it. In this applique, because it's down at the bottom of the mug mat, and the instructions will say this, you do not want to trim this bottom area, because or the side area, because that's actually going to have to be adhered with the back fabric that's going to go on top at the end. So just trim the top part of this one in this instance.